Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the 208th edition of Cinema Effect. I'm Zach, and I'm joined by Disney's number one hater, Jaden.
Howdy.
Good morning. And PTA's number one fanboy, John Cena, Jesus Christ, aka Fitzy, aka Liam.
Hi. Good morning.
Good morning to you as well. I don't know why, but I just sort of get a little bit self-conscious. Like, are you offended, Jaden, that I list so many nicknames for Fitzy? Like, I rattle them all off.
No, not at all. No.
But I just choose one for you.
No, it's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I could, rattle all yours, or I could go,
No, I don't want that.
Disney
No,
number one
I think
hater,
it's
the amazing
cleaner.
one.
Just with,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, that's cool. It sort of distinguishes you both as well, maybe. Okay, that's cool. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Cinema Effect, the podcast where we review and talk about a different movie every single Monday. And this week, that movie is Twilight. Wow. Which opened in the US November 21st, 2008. It was directed by Catherine Hardwicke, who now becomes the fourth female director ever in the history of Cinema Effect.
Wow.
Really?
That was a joke, but it's honestly probably not far off. It's a fantasy romance movie, and the synopsis says, when Bella Swan moves to a small town in the Pacific Northwest, she falls in love with Edward Cullen, a mysterious classmate who reveals himself to be a 108-year-old vampire. I must say, that was the biggest plot twist of the movie. When it came up and she was doing the research and the articles and then highlighted vampire. It's like, oh, fuck. Whoa. It's wild. Okay. Now, Fitzy, please, you guys know I trip a lot in terms of just totally mixing up what we said last week. But I was reasonably confident that at the end of last week's episode, you said you'd never seen Twilight.
He literally said he went with his uncle.
No, that was one of the later films that we.
Yeah, and then you walked out. Yeah.
Yeah, but
I thought you said you hadn't seen it.
No, I watched this 2 years ago. I don't know, at some point.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Interesting. Anyways, so this is actually a rewatch for you. What did you think of Twilight?
Yeah, I don't know. It's occasionally kind of fun at times. But for every moment of trope fulfillment that's kind of satisfying, there's an equal amount of moments that are kind of inexplicable. Just in the facial expressions mostly, and the kind of, I don't know, overdone music and that kind of thing, and obviously some of the lines. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of enjoy the campiness for the most part, but again, there are some parts that are just you don't know what they're reacting to, or you don't really know what's being said or what's happening. It's just kind of befuddling, but yeah, I don't know. It's enjoyable enough, I guess.
Okay. Interesting. I've never seen this movie. You guys have both seen it, but I kind of liked this movie, to be honest. I thought it was an enjoyable teen movie. Partly the cheesiness that I'm looking for in this kind of thing, but also, in my opinion, with some solid dynamics as well. I thought, the movie wasn't undeniably great or anything, but how dare you say the music's overdone, sir? Because the score in this movie was actually surprisingly great, in my opinion. I don't know. Overall, I don't know what I was expecting. I definitely wasn't expecting a great score. But I don't know. Other reactions to this movie, obviously I knew where the user scores were at. But I kind of just feel like I might possibly end up standing as a defender of this movie. Because I don't want to, we'll talk about it all, obviously. But surface level, I'm starting to think my first thought was after finishing it, is there just some sort of larger bias against Twilight because it's Twilight? You know what I mean? I'm not saying this is a great movie overall, but it's thinking it's trash. I'm okay. We'll see about that. Jaden, rewatch for you. What do you think?
Yeah. I'll stand on business and say that this is a great movie, in fact. Yeah, my opinion is pretty much completely swayed on this. I had a fantastic time. Pretty much everything is up my alley. absolutely right on Carter's score is phenomenal, but then also like the music on this soundtrack is like so much of the songs in this are like fundamental to me growing up, but I never really realized they were on this soundtrack. And then now looking back at it, I'm like, wow. I think the acting's great. I think Kristen like fully sells it really well as like this kind of detached teenager, kind of half forced to move to this like isolated community. I think RP is great. He might disagree nowadays. He might be pissed off at it, but I don't know. I love the setting. I love Pacific Northwest stuff. The Yankee shit up there is really nice. Yeah. So I was down for that. And I like the story. I don't know. It's a very simple story in the end. That I didn't remember being that straightforward. And I was like, okay, I can get down with this.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it is, but like I was also in terms of like the romance aspect, but like that's all I knew about it. So going in, there was still a lot I was surprised by in terms of like, honestly, mainly just to do with because the high school stuff's there too, but that was kind of I'm into that as well. Don't get me wrong, but that was more on the generic side for sure. For me, like I was like surprised by the whole like vampire family dynamic, and I was like, oh, I just like never. But I like obviously I know about but I knew 3 characters in this franchise existed prior to jumping in here. So like learning, oh yeah, of course these movies would have more characters, and like getting to see them interact and stuff. I'm like, oh, this is actually kind of cool. And I just like never even conceived of like where it went in terms of like them having to team up and protect Bella, and they do this chase across the country. And I'm like, oh, this is just like not at all what I would have thought this movie was going to go prior to jumping in. So, it did surprise me in that sense.
On the score disparity, like, did you see like this the letterbox breakdown where it's like 10s and 1s are like both peaking?
No.
Okay.
I didn't.
It very like it is. The girls and gays giving it 10s and it gets really popular, and then like the guys go and watch it because it's really popular, and then they give it 1s to equal it out because they're like, nah, shit else.
Yeah, right. See, just kind of the extreme polarization of stuff that annoys me. I don't know. Okay, this is. Let's just try and get to the heart of it. Attempt to anyway. Fitzy's coming out here saying stuff's bewildering. Jaden's coming out here saying that the romance is good. I feel like
wait, hold on. I said some moments are bewildering. I started off with saying it's entertaining and I enjoy it, and I did enjoy it. So don't make me the fucking bad guy, guys. Like, come on.
Okay.
Don't make me go first and say one bad thing, and then make me the bad guy of Twilight. I enjoyed watching this film.
Okay.
What task did you do, Liam?
Electrical.
Look, I'm not going to lie, but look, I appreciate you standing up for yourself right now, but like your passion in that little speech you just gave was like much stronger than the tone before, which implied much more like, oh, I had to watch this.
Oh, my tone. Okay. Whatever.
Yeah. Jaden's out here saying that the romance is good, which I feel like I'm not out here to agree or disagree quite yet, but I feel like that is the main thing when we talk about this movie and the talking points. I feel like top level reaction to the romance is like the natural place to go. So in trying to figure out does it work, how we feel about it, Fitzy, I need you to elaborate on what bewildered you and the part. If so, the parts of it.
Frame it like that, dude. No.
But like,
you don't understand what I'm saying. I'm just saying, like, some of the moments, they're, the most bewildering parts are the like facial reactions in some moments where like it's just totally exaggerated and I don't know what they're reacting to. But yeah,
but like between each other romantically.
No. It's like it's an isolated thing that happens to both of them, kind of. But like, yeah, the romance is okay. Their dynamic is good, I guess. I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with most things in this film. There's just some moments that are obviously, are cringe and overdone. And if you don't want to admit that those moments existed, that's fine. But I will.
Is one of them when they stare at each other for like the 16th time?
No. Can you just say you know what I mean though? Like in what's like an example? Okay, like at the end when like Edward is like Edward's last reaction to Bella when she says she'll give in later or whatever, and he just makes this weird face that I don't understand in like the gazebo part of the very end. It's moments like that that are just inexplicable,
Okay.
and then not the same kind of enjoyable camp as the rest of the film.
No, I didn't really feel that, to be honest. I don't know. Didn't really notice. I did.
Okay, guys, sure. Okay. Yeah, you didn't notice it. Okay.
Things for lying. Things for lying.
No, but can you explain it? Like, just can you dumb it down for me as much as you can? Because I think I'm still misunderstanding what you mean.
I wish I had another example, but I feel like they're pretty abundant.
Even with that last example, but how does it actually how do you actually feel about it? Like, I
don't even make the expressions that Edward makes.
Yeah. Like, what, you just don't understand? Like, you think it's overacting? Is that what it is? Like,
yeah, but pretty much.
Okay.
The way like Bella, like her line when she talks about she doesn't like cold and wet stuff, and she kind of like, she kind of like goes crazy with her face, like that.
Right.
That those kind of moments, which
right,
I feel like appear every like 10 minutes or so, every now and again.
Okay. That makes okay. I understand a bit more now. A little bit more. I thought, yeah. I mean, I thought you were more just talking about like, when they first stare at each other, and it's just like, who was it? I think like Anna Kendrick's like, don't, get your hopes up about dating Edward Cullen, and then she's like, oh, don't worry, I won't, and she's just there like eyeballs staring at him. You know what I mean? There's just a lot of awkward staring in this movie, but like obviously a part of the romantic tension.
No, that shit was fun. That was funny.
Yeah. Gotcha. Okay, gotcha. I understand. I got you now. Okay, no, that's cool. But so you you think the romance is actually fine? You think it's fine? But like cheesy, enjoyable, decent. Okay, all right.
Yeah, cheesy, enjoyable, decent. I mean, it's like
all right.
It's like halfway between those two things.
Okay, all right. Jaden, would you go as far to say as that this is the greatest love story ever told?
Oh no. But I think over the years, having seen so many memes of still a better love story than Twilight, it definitely warped my mind into thinking it was much worse than what it is. But I think it's pretty solid, man. Especially maybe like because like the whole love triangle thing hasn't been involved yet.
Right.
Maybe it's gonna get worse.
Yeah.
But like I think everything in this, like as a self-contained thing, I think it's all pretty solid and standard. And I quite bought like the development.
I will say that I definitely started to notice. I mean, I think it's good. It's like there's some dialogue for sure that's like not great in my opinion. Like I don't know that whole scene when.
Oh, so you hate Twilight, Zach? Is that what you're saying?
Fucking hell!
You're one of these men who just hate Twilight.
I thought I was gonna come in and defend this movie, but I don't know, like that whole scene when like they're up in like the forest on the hill or whatever, and it's just like I don't know, and they're like lying in the grass. It's like that some of the dialogue there is like, yeah, all right. Like I don't have the strength to stay away from you anymore. You know what I mean? It's like all right, it's fine. So it has its little moments where it gets into like a little bit cheap for me. But overall, I thought it was decent. The chemistry between them was pretty good. I don't know. I didn't like it. I didn't fully buy into it, I guess. I enjoyed it. But I didn't like genuinely feel connected to it like, I need to see this happen. You know what I mean? But it was like, it was enjoyable nonetheless. I think there was just too much. There's probably too much for me to fully get into it of like them being constantly flustered around each other. Obviously. Even actually, I was going to say earlier in the movie, honestly, sort of just throughout the whole thing, like from Kristen's point of view, I mean, I get that, RP's hot. Cool, that's cool. But like, I hope it's sort of got a bit annoying a little bit. Maybe some of those overacting moments, maybe that links into what Fitzy's talking about. Because there was a couple of moments where it's sort of like they're staring at each other that they can't. they need to look away. It's like, sorry, that's a bit melodramatic, but
But melodrama's part of it. What do you mean?
yeah, I know. Like, I get it. It's like this is the beautiful dichotomy of Twilight we're exploring here, where it's like it is what is enjoyable about it, but it's also why it's not genuinely excellent. You know what I mean?
But it is genuinely excellent. Best love story ever told.
No,
It sounds like you really hate it, and Liam's like loving it. So this is
I have criticisms of it, I guess. I don't know. How did you feel about the dialogue overall?
Dialogue's relatively solid. A bit kind of standard, but I feel like I can make apologies for like 2008, and it being where it is as like a kind of adaptation of a young adult novel, and being the starting point of it. Like, had it been further down the line, I think they would have been able to refine some of the dialogue and been able to better adapt some of the things that I guess you read in the book. But for like, it seems like from what I've read, it seems pretty accurate. Not read from the book, read online about accuracies, but like in terms of like that like something had to be changed, and like characters had to be like fused and stuff, and like some of the dialogue had to be changed, obviously. But I still think they did a pretty good job of it. But yeah, there is a certain set of like standardization that kind of came through.
Yeah. No, I do agree. I mean, let us never forget the line, "I like watching you while you sleep." Let's just remember
that's original.
Oh yeah. But yeah, no. Overall, I don't disagree. I didn't think it was like, as I was watching it, I wasn't actively thinking, "Oh, this is dog shit" or anything. I really have unintentionally changed my whole tone to where I'm basically now just like, it sounds like I'm just saying, "Oh, it wasn't terrible," but I actually did like this movie, guys. I promise. Yeah. In terms of the casting, though, we're obviously going to get to that a little bit later. Who we would cast today, but I don't know. How did we feel about the casting choices? How it works? So I'll just come out and say it. I'm not like the biggest Kristen Stewart fan, and her performance is serviceable for me in this movie. But I'm all about Robert Pattinson, though.
I think she was better than Pattinson in this film, to be honest.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think maybe because it was his first Yankee role, a little bit uncomfortable. But like I think she did a better job, and I think he just felt like a bit out of place.
Okay.
With I feel like he suffered from overacting a bit more than she did.
Yeah, I agree with that actually.
Okay. Interesting.
I feel like he was the main culprit of the overacting thing. Yeah.
But that might just because he had to play a vampire, and like a moody vampire, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just the only way he could do it. But yeah, I think she was better than him.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay. The main culprit of the inexplicable moments, as you put them.
Yes.
Of the bewildering stuff.
The bewildering stuff, that's right. Yeah. Okay. No, that's fair enough. I just feel like he just looks so much like a vampire that it's like, maybe just physically I'm just all in on that. It's just like, oh yeah, I see that. I mean, yeah. They do a good job of making them all look like vampires, though. Like, the second that Dr. Cullen guy shows up, he's the whitest character I've ever seen in my life. It's like, dude, if I just ran into this guy on the street, I'd think he was a vampire. You know what I mean? Then you'd have to be watching the vampire movie to realise that. I mean, Christian's actually pretty pale in the movie too, to be fair. So, yeah, that's well suited. And they do comment on that as well, so, that's well suited to it. Jaden, you mentioned you liked the Pacific Northwest setting.
Yeah, bang.
I love it too. I love it just in general, in things. I'm just kind of fascinated. I kind of want to go into I feel like I could just go and explore that area, Go to some different towns. Go to towns like Forks, drive around.
I just feel like it's
put your raincoat on.
Yeah, like I'm a big defender of like visiting Australian national parks and like our communities here. But I feel like there's such a sameness between like 4 buildings. One of them's a pub, one of them's a church, and then just gum trees is what ours are. Whereas over there, it just seems a little bit more diverse, and that's what I'm like.
Yeah. No, 100%. I liked the way in which, just talking a little bit about like the look of the film and stuff. Like, I really liked the way this film was clearly shot on film, which I really enjoyed, and I love that combined with the grading just made the film like look really cold, which obviously matched the setting perfectly. So yeah, I don't know. I was just also a little bit surprised, I guess, that this film, just looking at it, felt like a film. You know, like, I think I came in expecting. Again, expectations are such a big part of this for me coming in, but I was just came in expecting like glossy HD 4K, like not 4K back then, but you know what I mean, like just a glossy, like, you know, uh, big budget, like, you know, romantic novel adaptation. You know what I'm talking about, like a 50 Shades kind of like looking film, I guess. And so I was kind of surprised. It felt like it had some filmic qualities to it, which I appreciated overall.
Yeah, I think I think the blues were stunning, and I think like it's such a
Yeah.
such a bold choice that it seems like they didn't carry through because like I sort of think for New Moon where it was like a bit more of a yellow thing. Maybe I don't know. We'll see how that like looks.
Maybe that
But,
thematically ties into that.
Yeah. But I think like, you know, going for such a rich, you know, blue as like your kind of main hue, you know, it's kind of rated all. It's really nice.
It's like a Twilight.
Oh,
wow.
shit.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy, dude. Yeah, that is true. Yeah, I wonder. I will be very curious to see. I'm very curious to see how the sequels go in general, but I'm very curious. Like, by the time we get to Breaking Dawn Part 2, like, is this shit just going to look like the most, like, exactly what I'm talking about? Like, is it going to go away from that? I'm curious to find out. Yeah, I did read that in the trivia that the book was originally meant to be titled Forks. And
like
then,
the bear.
Like the bear?
Yeah, they've got that one episode called Forks.
About the Forks. Oh yeah, well, nicely done. Wow, you totally derailed me. What was I going to say? Oh, and Stephanie Meyer's publisher made her change it because I agree that is a terrible name. So, the name Twilight is basically just like, I don't think it has any relevance, right? Like, I think it's just, other than like it sort of vaguely might sound like vampire. It's just like in the terms of, you know, their connection with the sun and shit. So it's like, okay, but I like how the name basically just came from like marketing. Yeah, we need a better name than that. So there you go. But Stephanie Meyer has also written this book 3 times. Have you seen that?
No. What do you mean?
She wrote this book.
Oh, you mean the perspectives?
Yeah, and then the remake.
Yeah.
So
she remade it as well.
So she wrote a second book that's the same book from Edward's perspective, which actually, to be honest, conceptually sounds kind of cool. Like, if I was a big fan, I think that, like, if I was a big fan of a book and the author wrote the same thing from another character's perspective, I would eat that up personally. But then she wrote another book that's the same book again, but it's like all the characters are like gender swapped. So like Edward's a female character, but they all start with the same. Like, I forgot it's like Edith is the vampire, or, you know what I mean? They all have the same letter as their starting initial. Anyway, it's just kind of weird. She just kind of got obsessed with this story, I think.
The money the story brings.
Exactly. Who can blame her, really? But yeah, I wasn't really going anywhere with that, to be honest. I will just quickly shout out the fact, in terms of the characters, there were a few that I did really like as well. I mean, first, just on Bella as a character outside of the romance stuff, I appreciate that one of her main traits is being totally uncoordinated, and they go back to that multiple times, where she just stumbles and shit. And that's probably the most relatable aspect to a character I've seen in a few times, in quite a while for me, to be honest, because that's just me in general. So shout out to that. I feel like uncoordinated people with bad hand-eye coordination are underrepresented in cinema. So, you know, you got to appreciate it when it's there, for sure. And then, I don't know, a few other people turned up in this movie. Anna Kendrick was in this movie in the high school sections. That was kind of surprising. Obviously we got the you know, what's his name? Who plays Jacob? Taylor someone? I don't know.
Oh, Taylor Lautner.
Yeah, he was there. He was here teasing his role upcoming. I like at the end they definitely tease the whole the feud that is to come. You know what I mean? Jaden can't wait for that. So that was cool. Actually, you know what? Quick shout out. You know when Jacob's dad, like when they pull up to Bella's house like midway through the movie, and his dad was just like, "Oh, I'm just here because Jacob didn't shut up about wanting to come and see you." And then Jacob's is all shy and shit. And then his dad just has a lot. The way he delivered this line was just so funny to me when he said, "Just keeping it real, son." Like he was basically saying, "I know I just fully embarrassed you, and I was happy to do it." And I thought it was he just got he was just tickled by it, you know. So that made me laugh. Anything about the high school section that wasn't generic that we appreciated, or anything that was super generic and that's what we appreciated about it?
I liked how diverse the group of friends were in terms of like personality type in like a high school setting.
Oh yeah,
You know, they weren't
Yeah.
like all jocks or you know, the other types. So
yeah. What else you got? You got the nerds,
yeah, I was trying to think of like
like the goths, I guess.
yeah,
School shooters.
one or two in there.
Yeah. I feel like the school shooter. I don't know if this is smart for me to continue on this joke, but like I feel like the school shooter is a type, regardless of like whether you actually think they'd shoot a school. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Sure.
I don't know if that's what you meant.
I think we had 2 or 3 school shooters.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, no, you're right. I 100% agree. I think everyone has a few school shooters, even in countries where the possibilities of school shootings happening is much lower. There are still school shooters out there for sure. Yeah, no, that's a good point. In terms of what you're speaking about with the jocks and those sort of archetypes, like I definitely appreciate that the high school elements had the cheesy, like you know, who's going to go to the fucking ball or what was it again? I don't know what it was.
Winter formal.
The winter formal, whatever. Who's going to go to that with who and like all that kind of shit, and then staring at each other across. Like I had all that stuff that I enjoy without the goddamn just over the top bullying that drives me mad. Dude, that's my most hated trait, an archetype in the high school stories is just like way too. Obviously, bullying's real, right? I get it, but like just way over the top bullying of like just beating people up in the hallways and like it's just like way too much for me. You know?
That's just America.
Maybe. I don't know. That trope drives me nuts. So, but this movie had very little bullying.
Yeah,
overall.
they kind of teased it at first, and then they were all friends, pretty much.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I was very.
She showed how to get through, how to get past the bullies. You know, she's not phased, and then she just
exactly.
You know.
Yeah. But like can't you imagine? So like the main sort of inciting sort of physical incident, in terms of like exposing Edward at first, was like, you know, when he like had to run in and save her from the car when that accident happened and the dude was driving. It's like, dude, there's 100%. I feel like 9 times out of 10 another script would have it be where like she's getting bullied and then Edward has to come and save her or something. Like, actually, to be fair, that did kind of happen when she was cornered by all those thugs.
I mean, that was more of a rape thing rather than a bullying thing, man.
Yeah, exactly. But like but you know what I mean? Like you can imagine that happening at school in another script, and it's like and because she's been bullied up until this point in the movie, and Edward just like that would have just been annoying. So I actually liked that it was like an accidental, and like the dude just slipped like the car thing, so like that was fine. I like that.
I quite like the family dynamic that's going on. I think it's sufficiently complex.
Oh, the Cullens?
The Swans.
Oh yeah. Sorry, yeah, I like that too.
Yeah, I think like the strained relationship with the dad, but then like, you know, she comes to appreciate and all that stuff. I really love that shit, you know. I think like I don't know, because like she's in like I think it does a good job of putting her in like a in between place without actually like putting pressure on her as like a kid, you know, rather than it being like a stressful divorce or like, you know, her hating her step parents or whatever, you know, like, you know, once again, like that you'd say would be typical, like, you know, she's pretty happy everywhere and just kind of, you know, little remedies and just kind of, I don't know, I think that's a cool, I don't know, it's probably a bit more of a unique way of showing a child a divorce thing, and just she's happy to do either, you know.
Yeah, for sure. And she makes the decision to move to Forks too. It wasn't like she had to or whatever. Like she makes that decision because she thinks it'll make her mum happier. So she makes the call. I think that's cool too. For sure. Yeah, I totally agree with that. I liked the whole dad character as well.
Yeah.
I thought he was well acted. I don't know. I don't know if I've seen that guy before, but I thought he did really good. That whole relationship arc in the movie was really cool because it's one of those things where obviously they're awkward at first, but they both mean well the whole time. They never get on bad terms in the movie. You know what I mean? Like you could see them like again in another movie like having beef or something, or like being mad at each other. That never really happens. It's more just like they're kind of awkward because of their distance, which makes perfect sense. But they both mean really well, and they both clearly want to. They're trying. And I was on board from that from the start. And then you obviously you see where it's going, but it was still satisfying. I'm glad they didn't have a falling out or anything. And then where that leads to with then like that the scene where, you know, she basically then has to lie to her dad and like, you know, where she has to have the blow up and pretend that she's just leaving. That's obviously a, you know, that was a really good coming together of like what was needed for the plot to escape the vampire tracker, but then emotionally with what was going on with the dad arc, where it's like, oh no, don't do that. That's sad. Yeah. You're going to make him feel really bad, you know? So I thought that was all really effective as well. And I don't know how much this guy sticks around or anything. Hopefully, I hope he does because he's one of my highlights of the movie. But like even the little bits that they touch on, it's not the focus at all, but the little times they touch on like his role as chief of police and like what that means for the town. And you know, there's that one scene when they're in the diner and like the people they're just trying to have a meal with his daughter, and then like the people next to him are like getting the waitress to ask about, you know, the murders that are happening or whatever, or like the missing. And it's just like that was just a really standout scene to me because it was like that must be a really tough spot to be in, where like everyone knows you in town, got all this pressure on you. You know, you just want to, you can't just have quiet moments to yourself. Everyone's like, you know, judging your performance essentially. So I don't know if that gets explored more. I don't really expect it, but I thought it was just a cool little element to this movie. So I like that character as well. I guess the mum was, I don't know, the mum was less of a character and more of a, you know, what you were talking about in terms of how they deal with the overall scenario with Bella, I guess.
Yeah.
I did appreciate that her stepdad was the minor baseball league player, and they touched on how much they travel. Felt very relevant to us after we talked about that.
Well, his name's Phil. Phil's getting traded every week.
Yeah, that's right. Can Phil get a cameo in where Jonah Hill comes in and tells him he's traded?
Yeah,
that'd be good. Into all the other family. Sorry, when you said family dynamics, I thought you were talking about the Cullens.
Cullens are cool too.
I really liked them, dude. They have a sick house. Can we just say that? I thought they had a sick house. The whole thing was cool. Like I said, I just never expected to like be into like Edward's vampire family, but I was, and like them having to come together to them being. I know there's the blonde one. I think like didn't like Bella or like was more hesitant, which is fair enough. But overall, generally speaking, I like how they were supportive of Edward, and then like basically they all team up at the end to try and protect Bella, which I thought was satisfying to see that come together.
I'm glad none of them died for it, you know, because then like making like the family resentful, you know, of Bella. Like,
right.
Thank God that's not going to be a subplot. I mean, maybe it will be later.
Yeah. It's still time.
Yeah, but I'm glad it didn't happen in this film where like, you know,
Yeah, exactly.
Because like one of them could have easily died at the baseball field, and then you like caused a rift in the family, you know, and then like that had to be dealt with. But you know,
yeah, that is so true. Hey, maybe I'm just realizing now that we're the last like 10 minutes. It's like maybe everything that makes this movie enjoyable is like what it doesn't do. You know what I mean? It doesn't do all this annoying shit that we would find bad. It's like, but it doesn't. It takes the better route. Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. Can we just please? I think we're all gonna like vampire baseball, right?
I'm not hard on it, but I don't mind it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty fun, I guess. But
wow, not much enthusiasm for vampire baseball.
Yeah,
I thought it was dope. To be honest with you, I thought it was a really cool scene.
Oh yeah, I actually no, I really enjoyed it like the first time I saw it. That was like because it was totally unexpected. I was like, oh, they're playing baseball now. You know, that's very
get Phil here.
Yeah,
exactly. Stephanie likes baseball, clearly.
Yeah, but I think like the baseball thing is cool because like it fulfills American tropes as much as it does like vampire tropes, I guess.
Yeah.
It just makes the film holistically tropey. So it's a cool little addition.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. And it was, I don't know, I just thought it was like a really cool looking scene. Like all the powers and the concept in general and the way it was executed was just, I was like, oh yeah, I've just never conceived of this, but seeing it, it's like, oh yeah, that's pretty sick. How did we feel about
Pat's
like
actually trained to like play baseball like in preparation for the film?
Sorry, I missed the start of that.
Pat's trained like in like his training for the role. He learned to play baseball.
Was that a joke or is that real?
No, like I read that on the trivia. And he's like he decided that was an integral part.
Yeah. No, you're sorry. I actually have that trivia. Sorry. Mm-hmm. Yeah, when he moved to Oregon.
Yeah, he moved to Oregon
to work on his character, and learn baseball, learn how to fight, worked out, and all this kind of shit. Well, got a driver's license.
He doesn't work out for roles anymore, though. I don't remember that.
Obviously, no, he didn't work out for Batman. Clearly, but yeah. A few weeks before filming began, Robert Pattinson didn't talk to anyone to try and feel isolated as Edward Cullen. This dude's out here trying way too hard. Do you think maybe
really pull that off anymore? Can you? Like ever since Teeth, you can't really become like reclusive, and like surely someone from production will like get straight in there and be like, "Yo, you haven't spoken to anyone in a day. What's going on?"
Yeah, good point. And it's just like, yeah, I think you try. Does this in any way relate to his overacting? Where it's like he tried a bit because first American role, young actor, did he try a bit too hard overall in his prep? You know, it sounds like he might have. And then you wouldn't get those inexplicable moments. You know,
you shouldn't keep making fun of like a word that perfectly describes what it is. But okay.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, it actually does. If I had seen them, but yeah. How
can you not have seen them? That's crazy. Like, keep going. Yeah, that's fine.
Thank you, Liam. How do we feel about like the look of like the way the vampires move and like the CG in terms of that blur effect they have, and I guess sort of combined with the final scene in the ballet room where all their fighting is like their strength is conveyed by throwing each other through, against the walls with like the wires. It looked like it was done on wires to me, anyway. Yeah, just I feel like it was an interesting. Like, do vampires usually like move really fast and shit? Like, do they super speed?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Like, I was trying to think, like, because like it just feels like they're a super different thing. Even like this whole sunlight thing, like it doesn't affect them. So I was like, but yeah, I haven't really heard of like speed and strength and smell and reading thoughts and all that shit.
Right? Yeah, reading thoughts. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And the fact they have unique. Yeah, interesting. That seems pretty unique. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I just thought it was noteworthy because like the effect looked fine.
It was very 2008,
Exactly. Yeah. I thought the final fight looked decent with the wires and shit. But in terms of like the blur effect, it was okay. But yeah, like I said, I was just mainly like surprised that these were the powers, I suppose, and like how they were being shown. But yeah, in terms of the sun glistening thing was weird. Actually, that was kind of a bad looking effect, and I was kind of like. I was totally expecting, when he like wanted to show Bella what happens when he goes into the sunlight.
Him burn up.
Yeah, but like at least like he puts his skin there and it starts like something a bit more dramatic happens, I guess. Other than like he just starts vaguely glowing, and it looks kind of bad. I'm just kind of like, and so and like it doesn't harm him, right? It didn't seem to. It just seemed to be like an effect. Yeah, it was just like basically it would just give him away that something's weird about him. That's basically all it would do. Maybe he could categorize it as some weird skin condition or something. I don't know. Then he'd be fine.
I mean, these days people wear glitter as makeup, so it's fine.
Yeah, true. Yeah. He's just a mecha fan. He watches those TikTok tutorials. That's about it. Yeah, I was kind of underwhelmed by that. I don't know. I mean, maybe they don't want to. They don't want to establish rules for the vampires that later on then makes things hard.
I mean, I'd imagine that that's probably something that she set up in the book, right?
Yeah. just the way, yeah, in terms of the rules, you're right. I guess just the way it looked was kind of lame, you know.
Right.
Are you guys fascinated by vampires in general? Because this film, I understand it's more about vampires generally, but this film, you know, with the way in which it raises these ideas of like when Edwards was bit originally in 1918, and these ideas of like wanting to become immortal. Would you, from the vampire perspective, choosing to turn someone else if you want to be turned or not? I don't know. I think these are just interesting philosophical questions that the film, inherently by being a vampire film, raised. I'm not saying they're original to the film necessarily, but or the book even. But I still like weighing up these kind of questions. Like, would we want to become a vampire ourselves? And like, and obviously that's sort of Bella's thing at the end of the movie. She wants to become a vampire, and Edward's not about it. Doesn't want to turn her. I don't know. I find this stuff pretty interesting. I understand both sides to it, but I sort of probably tend to lean more towards Edward's side, where it's like, you know, isn't just a happy, you know, life with me sufficient? Why do you need to live forever with me? You know what I mean? That was sort of his thing. And I think he seems to generally as a character have a sort of distaste for what he is, I suppose, for being, because he, you know, called himself sort of a monster and gross a few times. So I don't think he's big on making anyone else suffer through that as well, necessarily. But yeah, I don't know. Would you become a vampire if you were Bella? And would you be interested in being a vampire? I feel like in this world there aren't as many cons as there are in others. You know, like in other worlds, like you can't even, you basically have to live in a cave. You don't even have to do that here.
Yeah,
You can
I think
listen to
there's too
music
many
all day.
positives to say no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't have to sleep. That's pretty good.
No sleep, powers.
Yeah, powers.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Like compared to like what we do in the shadows, vampires, like they have to sleep. They can't go out in the day at all. They have no real power. Oh, they have some powers, but like nothing really. That's, you know.
Oh yeah,
worth
they have that
raving
mind
about.
control thing, don't they? Doesn't one of them have
like a Jedi
possesses
mind
people.
trick kind of thing? Yeah.
Right.
And then they sort of float, but it's like, I don't know. There was nothing there that I felt like made it worth it overall. But yeah, actually, you know what? This one's pretty hard to turn back.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that you can go out during the day, easy. You know?
Exactly.
Okay.
It's like they picked the perfect area, slightly overcast, like today outside right now, and it's like fantastic, you know. So yeah, actually, there's a pretty convincing argument there. I mean, I've got no idea where this is going, actually, but I imagine this. My main question is, how many movies does it take before Bella becomes a vampire?
My whole expectation is that it goes completely off the rails from here. Is in terms of the films,
like everything about them, or like the story,
yeah,
or
pretty much, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't disagree necessarily.
I know like the twist, or like I know a big event that happens late in the films. Because you know, I used to watch fucking Cinema Sins videos back in the days. And,
yeah. That's unfortunate.
Which, you know, many things have been forgotten, but this major thing has stuck with me. And just knowing that thing, I'm like, yeah, this is gonna go crazy, man.
Okay, all right. Hey, I'm here for it if it's entertaining, but we'll see. Yeah, I mean, I don't see a world where this ends and Bella's not a vampire or hasn't become a vampire. Maybe she turns back or something. I don't know. Who fucking knows? But yeah, I think that's where it has to end up going. But I hope at least they treat it with some, like, they build to it. I hope, like, for example, I hope we don't, like, by like midway through the next movie she's already a vampire. That'd be pretty lame. I hope they treat it with some reverence, because this movie does, you know. That's the other thing.
I think having a female director is just the big part of it.
True.
I didn't see all the other directors, but I saw David Slade comes in for one of them. So it'll be interesting to see how he takes it. But I think having a woman behind the camera, especially for, I think it'd be important to probably tell the story. You know, I don't think. Yeah, I think that's. Yeah,
where it all falls apart when the dudes get involved.
When a dude gets involved, yeah.
Yeah, I don't disagree. Catherine doesn't do any more which I was a bit disappointed by when I saw.
Mm.
Because I would have had a bit. If I'd seen that she does at least 2 more, I would have had a bit of faith. But oh well. Anyway, speaking of Catherine Hardwicke, Andy had some takes about Catherine Hardwicke when he wrote in his review for Twilight, and he said, "Finished the film at 3 a.m., but I could not be asked reviewing it afterwards. Since Zach has unexpectedly given huge praise to my Anatomy of a Fall review last episode, I will do him the honour of writing just a shorter review. Thank you. Catherine Hardwicke, alongside Elizabeth Banks." Here we go. Sends female directors making studio films back 50 years. Every single technical choice falls apart, even if they were all intentional. Many of these cliches were actually hilarious, like a rom-com, but I get the vibe that Hardwicke was taking all of the creative decisions seriously, like she was filming Citizen Kane. She's the only one who makes the cast act like generic teens, because the direction she always seems to give is look horny. Hardwicke seems like one of those directors who will show off about making a popular franchise like Twilight with huge box office numbers and complain about not getting hired by Marvel because she's a female. However, I will continue watching this series for cinema effect. 3 out of 10.
I feel like he's
Wow.
assumed a lot there.
Oh, wow. Andy, you were absolutely... yeah, I don't disagree. Andy, you were savage. Jesus. Thank you for your honesty. I feel like... I mean, I obviously strongly respect Andy's opinion. So I get what I'm about to say is more of a comment on like the overall, like the 1-star reviews you were talking about, or the half-a-star reviews you were talking about, Shannon, like in terms of like the dudes who watch it need a counterbalance because it's Twilight. I am curious how that ends up playing out, because all the films have fairly similar scores. Some
True. Yeah.
little bit, you know, ups and downs, as you'd expect a little bit, but generally speaking, they're very similar scores. So I'd be very curious by the end of this franchise if like there's a, like, for us as reasonable men, for us, if there's a clear, like, oh no, like the first one was clearly way better than whatever, you know what I mean? As opposed to most people just go, oh, they're all trash, you know, because we obviously kind of like this movie. So, we said we'd like the score. Is there anything more to say about it other than it was?
I was very surprised to say it was
Carter.
Carter.
Rush over it. It was who? Sorry,
Carter Burwell.
Who's that? Why do I not know
Bruges.
that? Oh.
And some other stuff that I forget. Hold on, let me whip it up.
Yeah.
You know Carter.
Sure,
like Country, Banshees, you know.
Oh.
Worked at the Collins a shit ton, apparently. You know? But yeah, so I think Carter did fantastic. And you can really tell it's him with the piano stuff, you know, especially when you think of the piano stuff in Bruges and like...
right.
Stuff like that. But also, like, the soundtrack as well. I miss the days of films having official soundtrack. I think I've said this before on the show. But, you know, it was such a vibe. Back in the, you know... I remember, like, getting, like, the Catching Fire soundtrack when it released, you know. You got, like, Coldplay and Lord and shit. You know, and you're like, oh, this is so good. But, this one, you know, Paramore, Linkin Park, Muse, I think, yeah. And, like, you know, Radiohead didn't officially make it, but, you know, 15 steps in the credits. You're like, fuck yeah, man.
We're going to get more of these soundtracks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
When I went to Paramore last year, when they were down here, and, like, I was hoping so hard that they played Decode, and they did, and I was like, fuck yeah, man. I was like, this is everything I want.
Is that from this movie?
Yeah.
Where did it play?
It was at the end of the credits, but like it was like the lead soundtrack single. So it was more like a promotional thing rather than it being...
so I might not have heard it.
Yeah. If you didn't watch the credits through the end, then you wouldn't have heard it.
No. Oh, okay, never mind.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's sick though. I thought the score, in terms of the Carter score, was very good. The subtitles at one point, it just felt very unique to me. One of the subtitles described it as bluesy rock at a point. It wasn't that the whole way, don't get me wrong, but it was at certain points, and then there was a lot of electric guitar coming in as well. I was like, oh, this feels just, I don't know, this has got a certain spark to it that just feels pretty cool to me. And it really felt like it fitted, but it didn't feel like it was being like aping from other stuff, I guess, you know? Like, because Hunger Games, in terms of comparing it to other YA franchises, Hunger Games has got a pretty great score, but it's sort of a, you know, typical orchestral score, I guess. So they didn't borrow from that. They sort of did their own thing, which I like.
Well, I just saw that, Liam, Catherine also directed 13. Like, surely you have something more to defend her with now that you know, like, surely you can defend her against Andy.
Oh, against what Andy said.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a very competent director, Andy, I guess. I don't know. You saw Lord the Dogtown though, didn't you? So you have something to defend her against. Or was that Dogtown and the Z Boys?
Yeah, I've seen that one. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, was that a debut? 13.
Seems like it.
Yeah. It's kind of similar. Well, it's not similar at all, but like in the way it's like a teen kind of drama. So I guess she does that very well.
Okay, let's get to our final verdicts for Twilight. Liam.
I don't know.
Dude, you could give it an 8 or a 4 and I'd believe it at this point.
I was thinking of giving it an 8, but yeah, fuck it. I'll give it an 8 just to prove that I actually like it. There you go.
Nice, I like that. For similar reasons, I'll give it a 7.
I was tossing between 7 and 8. It feels weird that Fitz is going to be the highest after coming out and slandering it.
I didn't slander it, dude. Oh my god.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
it's just the curse of going first because like you say one negative thing and then like people, they skew it the wrong way.
I feel like you just needed to convey like the parts you liked a bit more, like a bit stronger,
Yeah, but
you got to be focused on it.
Can't be bothered doing
that. I think I'll leave it at a 7. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Cinema Effect, Twilight fans confirmed. Sorry, Andy. But Andy's going to keep watching with us, so we'll see where it goes for sure. Let's get into news chat. Got a couple trailers here. Fitzy and I saw the trailer for Here, which is this new Robert Zemeckis film. Tom Hanks and Robin Wright. Jaden saw the thumbnail. Jaden, do you have any thoughts on the thumbnail?
Disgusting. Why? Like, it just seems so wrong and fake and like.
Are you talking about the de-aged look?
The de-aged look, but even the house in the background, it just doesn't look right. Like, it looks uncanny in a way, and I'm like, what's going on here, man? And I'm like, look, I'm not a big Tom Hanks guy. I think we talked about this in Captain Phillips. Captain Phillips actually did a lot to resurrect his image for me.
Fantastic performance. Yeah.
But yeah, seeing this Tom Hanks, I'm like, like big. Like I don't.
Well, it's Zemeckis Tom Hanks, which is like your least favorite.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Now, Jaden, the whole point of this movie, I don't know if you got conveyed because you just saw the thumbnail, but like the whole movie is that one frame. The camera doesn't move.
What?
So you got to watch the trailers if you want. Just buzz through it and you'll see what we're talking about here. I thought so. I don't know if I'm going to end up liking this movie overall, but like I'll just say that the concept of this movie is awesome, and I can't believe. Like, sure, has anyone else done this? Like maybe an indie film's done it or something, but I feel like it's such a no-brainer concept for cinema that, like, in terms of having a film that spans billions of years, but the camera doesn't move in this one location, I feel like it's genius. So when I just like the second they started sort of exploring that idea where you get the different time periods.
That's sick.
And then yeah, right. And then the house ends up getting built. I'm just like, dude, that is fucking awesome. So I feel like I've definitely got to check this out, basically just for that. And then yeah, I'm not huge on the de-aging and the way it looks, but the film is coming out in like 6 months, so like maybe it'll look a bit better by the time we get there. I mean, it doesn't look terrible by any means. Like, it's not like I'll definitely still watch it, but it was slightly distracting to me. But I just thought the concept was so cool that I'm like, oh, dude, I've got to check this out. Jaden's already turned around.
Trailer,
yeah. That's great. Fizzy, what did you think of it?
Yeah, I was down for the concept, but like, pretty much one tweet, like threw me off the film, which they said like it's just going to be 15 minutes of dinosaurs and then an hour of boomer nostalgia. So
yeah,
that's kind of what it feels like. It feels like it's gonna focus too much on the, Hanks Wright, relationship, which like the film's got to have some kind of
it's got to have
angle to it. Yeah, obviously, but like it doesn't. It feels like in terms of the experimental side that's gonna fade away pretty quickly, I guess. I mean, you'll still have the camera the whole time, but like you won't get as wide a range as I think you would from another director, maybe. but it's still like crazy enough of a concept to like just see how it pans out, I guess. So
Right.
yeah.
But so obviously, regardless of the obvious dinosaurs comparison to the Tree of Life, like doesn't the Tree of Life just do the same thing? Where it's like there's 10 minutes of dinosaurs and then it's just about Brad Pitt and his family.
Well, I was actually going to say like the opposite, basically. Like I feel like if it was well, like the Tree of like intersperses it throughout the whole film, and it like it doesn't just do dinosaurs. That's just one fucking scene that everyone hyper focuses on. But
it was pretty wild.
It goes through. I don't know. It's like nature of Earth, nature of the universe, nature of all these different settings and stuff. It's not just like one thing, and it's not in just one part of the movie. It's like woven through the movie so that you like feel like it's part of the character's soul or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's a way different thing, really.
So did you get the impression that this is going to be like chronological? Like they're just going to...
Oh, definitely, yeah.
If so,
I definitely think it's going to be chronological, yeah. I think that's the whole point, basically.
Right. Okay, that's fair enough then. That is true.
It'd be cool if they de-aged Tom Hanks so much he becomes the dinosaur.
They do the inside. They did the behind the scenes where he's mocapping the dinosaur.
Yeah.
he's like this. I had to really embody the character. That's good. Okay, then there was this other trailer for Nosferatu. Is that how you say it?
Nosferatu. Yeah.
Nosferatu. This is Edgar's new film. I know nothing about it, so please tell me about it.
Eggers. Robert Eggers.
Yeah.
Eggers' new film. Oh, fuck. I
yeah.
Edgar, my bad. Well, I'm way less interested now, but anyway, please continue.
Less interested?
Love the Northman, wouldn't you?
Edgar.
I don't. That movie's fine. Yeah. Sorry, continue.
Sure. No, the trailer was awesome, but like it was so awesome that I can't regret watching it because there was one or two. There was like one image in the film which was like, it was really great, and it felt like it was some kind of homage to one of the other two films, because I don't know if Eggers like created that himself, or if that just like came from a different movie in his own take, his own imagination. That's pretty awesome. But like, the atmosphere is like super palpable, obviously. But it feels much more like, I feel like Eggers definitely has evolved through with each film. I feel like The Wish is just like pure atmosphere, but he's added these kind of occult elements more and more to each film, and then I think after like The Lighthouse and The Northman, you kind of get to this point where it's like this atmosphere feels so fused with like actual like lore and character and stuff. It's just, I don't know, it feels so like holistic at this point, so it looks really awesome. And like I think I'm so accustomed to vampire families, I guess, with all the like vampire TV shows and Twilight and stuff. I didn't expect just this like one horror character, and it feels like very like iconic, I guess, in the way it's just like, I don't know, it feels like well, it is like the most traditional horror because it's like the early film, but yeah, that just feels really palpable, I guess, and yeah, it's exciting.
So Bill's the only vampire?
I think so. That's kind of what I felt like from trailer. Like earlier, I just assumed that like Nicholas Hoult would be a vampire because he's tall and he's already played a vampire in like Warm Bodies or whatever.
Warm Bodies was a zombie.
Oh, was it? Oh, okay. He kind of looks like a vampire in the poster. I'm not gonna lie.
But wasn't he a vampire in that movie with Nick
Dark
Cage?
Shadows?
Oh yeah.
In Renfield, he was like an assistant, wasn't he? He was a human assistant.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
But he was in Dark Shadows, wasn't he?
Or
am I wrong on that?
I don't know.
I feel like he has played a vampire at some point, surely, right?
Yeah, like, I thought Renfield would definitely be a vampire, but
maybe it was Renfield.
No, it makes sense if Nick Cage was the vampire and then he was the What you're saying makes sense.
But yeah, I don't know. Lily Rose definitely really great. Willem Dafoe is obviously going to be. He's nailing
He's the Eggers guy.
the character actor. So yeah, he is.
Jaden's feeling very relieved that his policy of not watching these trailers anymore paid off for this one, apparently.
Yeah.
Because Fitzy wished he didn't watch it.
Mm.
So there you go. Now it's time for our highlights of the week. Jaden, would I be throwing you off if I were to go to you first? Is that okay?
How much time do you want to give me? Just to quickly check. Yeah, all right. So I don't know. It's been mainly a TV week for me. Have you guys watched any of The Bear?
No,
not yet.
No. I watched 3 episodes of the new season. Incredible stuff, really. That first episode is essentially a 30-minute montage, which I just can't imagine how long it took to shoot and compile and do everything in that, because it is an impressive thing.
Apparently not long, because these seasons come out really quick.
Well, yeah, I guess. But really, really kind of entrancing and important kind of thing that fills in a lot of gaps, but also moves the story forward swiftly, from where it ended. Episode 1 was really phenomenal stuff. And then 2 and 3, you kind of get back into the swing of it, where it's more traditional, in the kitchen stuff. But even 2 is that bit weird where it's almost a real-time thing. And it is incredible dialogue just off the bat, just incredible how they kind of, I don't know. It's an amazing way of, like, they're moving forward, but it still feels so similar to where it started. I think is like my main kind of praise of it. And I love seeing where Kami's at, and I think what it's going to do for this season is going to be really interesting. Because he's almost a villain,
Oh yeah, Kami sucks, 100%.
No, Kami's great, but I'm saying in these episodes he's almost a villain.
I feel I'm gonna like that.
But
cool.
Yeah, that's probably my highlight.
You're gonna keep binge. You're gonna binge it. You're gonna this time next week. You're gonna finish it.
Probably. Yeah, probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll continue on this train of thought, and let's do a little catch up on the Acolyte.
Actually, has Liam seen episode 5?
No.
Yeah,
Oh, sorry.
It's my fault. No, I know. Yeah. It's when I do it, it's fine.
Yeah.
But then when you do it, it's not. Yeah. Well, then can I really do that? I feel like
no. I mean, you probably wouldn't have spoken too much spoilers anyway, because
no, I would have loved to have just fully spoiled it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's sort of yeah.
Jesus.
I thought the episode was sick as, dude. I thought as I was watching it, I thought, oh, Jaden's gonna like this too. I thought he would, and I was right. Yeah,
I'm surprised how many people hate this show beyond like the initial thing Jaden was talking about of just like early review bombing and that kind of thing. Like
yeah, right.
I've started to realize that the hate is like much wider than just that, than just cringe fans or whatever.
The episode had a 2.6 on IMDb 15 minutes before it released. Like, it's still getting review bombed.
Sure, but I feel like the hate's like it's gone a bit beyond that. I feel like there's a lot of genuine criticism out there, but I don't know.
I don't think there is that many. Like, honestly, like I have seen like some people be like, "Oh no, it's actually the writing," but they never specify exactly what it is. And I think it's people trying to like disguise their hate through like valid means, but like they never specify what exactly is wrong. They're just like, "Oh, the writing and the acting's bad." Yeah, well, where is it bad?
Yeah,
I think it's definitely flawed in some parts.
Yeah. But I feel I feel like saying that just goes down the path of like just characterizing people badly for not liking a show.
I think Star Wars fans are 100% need to be characterized badly, because I think they're the worst people in the world.
I agree. But it's grouping people in still. It's still
no. I think all good. Star Wars fans are bad.
I think I generally would agree with you, Fitzy, but I feel like this is like a special case, to be honest. Where I'm more with like, if you, I've got genuine. I would love to. I've got like 3 criticisms of episode 5 that I would love to say, but it fully spoiled it. But I still thought the episode was really good. You know what I mean? And it's like I haven't seen, and like I'm sort of. I know that's literally what we're doing right now, but I'm over trying to rationalize like why people don't like it, because I've yet to see one like actually. And again, not saying there's not criticism because I have my own, but I'm just saying I've yet to see one genuine reason why someone like thinks the show's terrible. That makes perfect sense. You know what I mean?
Everything I see is just kind of ridiculous. Like, look, like, did I speak about it after episode 2? Did I mention it on highlights, or was it off show that I mentioned it?
Possibly off show, but
yeah. Look, I think one of my biggest criticisms is still the sets. They don't feel quite lived in and all that stuff. But writing wise, I think it's pretty on par with other Star Wars TV we've got. Acting wise, pretty on par. I think Lee Jong Jae's great. I think Daphne Keen's great.
Lee's great.
Yeah. And I think the other ones are pretty serviceable as well. So whenever people take issue with that, I'm like, not really.
Did they watch the Book of Boba Fett? I just want to.
Yeah. And then writing wise, like, once again, I still think this. I think the dialogue is just pretty standard Star Wars at this point, which probably not great to say, in terms of like people have this perception of like a lowering thing, but like,
right? Yeah.
I think all Star Wars has cringe, and all Star Wars has things that are badly kind of written at points. But I think this also has like a lot of cool things and like a lot of nice dialogue as well.
Yeah.
Like I think there's things that balance it out pretty much everywhere.
Yeah, I agree totally. Have you seen up to 4, Fitzy?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
And you can't tell me. All right, so you've seen the end of 4. You cannot tell me that the Sith cunt descending from the treetops floating down wasn't sick, right?
Oh, that was sick. Yeah.
But people online are like, "Oh, Darth Mary Poppins. Oh, it's such a joke." I'm like,
right.
How are you taking an issue with this awesome kind of imagery
100%.
of like him coming up from behind? Like, I'm like, dude.
That's the perfect example of like of people just fully taking the exact same thing and the whole context just determining they just think the total. Dude, if you put that shit in like anything else, like the same thing, like without like the exact same frame, exact same whatever.
If it was in Dune, dude.
If it was in Dune, if it was in some trailer for a new Old Republic video game, everyone would be like, "This is the fucking coolest shit ever. They should do more of this." You know what I mean? Talking about I and like again, I appreciate what Fitzy's saying about generalizing, because I would generally agree, but like I've seen it so many times with Star Wars over the years where it's just like I can't even. I'm just more than happy to generalize like that at this point with these people because it's just so far beyond. But the show we're saying it, I don't want to harp on that because like I'm so sick of that also being the whole thing about the conversation about the show. Unfortunately, I really think that the whole show's history is going to be dominated by this, like the whole toxicity and the whole like hate towards it. And like it's sort of just going to be the first thing anyone thinks about when they think about the show in the future, which is a shame because I think it's a really good show in its own self. So I sort of want to try and focus on that more in the future when we can.
My favorite, like it's still not a spoiler because it technically happened in episode 4 for you, Liam. But like my favorite thing is people like, "Oh, there's 7 Jedi here," and they didn't detect that there was a Sith there. But that's like the whole point of the prequels. That 10,000 Jedi couldn't detect that there was a Sith at the heart of it.
Just standing right next to them the whole time.
And like that was the thing that was echoed across Reddit and Twitter. Like I saw it everywhere. It's like, "Oh, how do they not sense him?" And it's like, oh my god, man.
That's so funny, man. Oh god. Anyway, Fitzy, what have you been watching?
I don't know. I watched this film Gabriel, which was on Plex, free on Plex on Tubi.
Damn.
It's a good film. It has Rory Culkin, the other Culkin.
Wow, that's shocking.
Yeah, and it's just
wait, sorry, is he the Signs one?
Yeah, he's Signs. Yeah,
gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just about him, like he's coming home from this kind of mental institution, although you don't really know at first, and it's kind of vague. And he's like obsessed with finding this girl he wants to marry, basically. And like it's basically a film about like mental illness, kind of, but it's not about any specific illness. It's kind of kept vague in that sense, but the details of like what's going on are kind of slowly revealed, and it's mainly just a character piece about just the Gabriel, about this one person, and it's really strong for that. And I'm pretty surprised that this director hasn't done much else yet. I think he was on some like Madonna project. He was supposed to be on some Madonna project like last year, but it was a really solid. It's a really solid like debut. Rory's pretty much. I think Rory and like one other person I recognize in the film. They're pretty much the only like main, big actors, I guess. But everyone in the cast is just great, and it's just a good, I don't know, kind of character piece that's kind of underappreciated. It's not very not a very widely known film. It's pretty unpopular on Letterboxd. So yeah, it was a good film.
Nice. Is Rory going to come back and win an Emmy?
So this is 2014.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, so no.
Yeah, no.
I just want to see the Culkins rise up. You know what I mean? They already are. They're ascending a little bit. But like get the main dude back. What's the main one? Macaulay.
Yeah.
Macaulay. Yeah, get him back. Get everyone back in the fold, you know. I need to see them. Get them all in the same movie. Why not? That'd be great.
It's funny how much of like Kieran, how much of his expressions I saw in Rory while I was watching the film.
Yeah.
They have such similar faces.
Kieran kind of, I mean, the Culkins all definitely look similar, which I like. That's such a weird sentence. Sorry, but like, Kieran kind of reminds me of Tobey Maguire too at times. You know.
Mm.
You see that, like, dude, it's Succession season 1. He's basically Bully Maguire, like in terms of his look.
There's been a few times where I've seen him and I'm like, oh yeah, Toby.
Yeah. There's definitely something to that, I reckon. Okay, well, hey, maybe we'd cast him in Twilight, because now comes the segment where we hand the show over to you with our question of the show. Last week we asked you, who would you cast as the leads in Twilight today? Andy said, Robert De Niro and Meryl Streep. They're still acting today, so it counts. Of course it totally counts. That's what you would do. That's great. To be honest, that sounds sick. I'd watch that shit. Jaden hates Meryl Streep, so why do you hate Meryl Streep? Have we ever explored this?
No clue. I just don't like her. Yeah. It's just one of those things. It's just like a soul read. We just wouldn't vibe.
Yeah. Okay.
I think she's severely overrated. I think it's probably where it started. Like, why is she better than any other actress from her generation? And like, why do people have this kind of like undying adoration for her? And like they constantly put her on a pedestal. And like, for what?
Yeah.
She
is like the female De Niro.
Is she? Like, for what?
Dude, I haven't seen enough of her films, but like, I feel like that is what she's considered. Like, she is in that level of like top female actors, I reckon, of all time. I reckon
she was terrible in The Post. You know what I mean? She was nothing in Devil Wears Prada. Mamma Mia, I mean, is just a comedy character. Little Women, was she even in that? I genuinely do not remember her being in Little Women, and I love that movie.
She was in your favourite movie of all time. How do you
feel?
Oh, yeah.
And she was in The Deer Hunter as well, which I think she's fine in The Deer Hunter. I think The Deer Hunter's fantastic, not because of her.
Right.
Maybe Sophie's Choice is what does a lot of it, because I see that constantly praised. I don't know. Into the Woods, fucking shit. Don't look up, nothing, The Giver, nothing. I mean, like what has she actually done here?
What are there must be some seminal Meryl Streep performances.
It seems like it's Sophie's Choice and Kramer vs. Kramer, right? They're like going to be the two big ones, right?
Possibly, yeah. Yeah, I haven't seen Kramer vs. Kramer.
Isn't that just like a comedy? Bridges of Madison County is probably one of them.
Bridges of Madison County? No way.
Really? I haven't heard of that.
Clint Eastwood film. Yeah.
Oh, interesting. But yeah, but I guess I'm trying to find like what are her Raging Bulls or Deer Hunters?
Yeah, what gives her the right for you to say she's a female De Niro?
Oh, I'm not saying. I just feel like that is the perception.
Whereas even in doubt, she's the most disappointing part. Amy Adams and Philip Seymour Hoffman are way better than what she is.
Wow. Anyway, so she's Bella in Andy's Twilight. Get around it. I don't get me wrong. I respect like not liking a big actor just because that's how I feel about Julia Roberts. Actually, no, I've got valid reasons not to like Julia Roberts.
Why don't you like Julia Roberts?
Because she's terrible. Dude, total waste of space in Ocean's 11. Oh my god. Remember when they paid her $20 million for that shit? I still haven't gotten over that. That was, oh my God. Anyway, Aiden said, I wouldn't cast them per se, but you can see it. And then he's got a few here, which like this. So when we asked the question last week, this was the realm of actors I was thinking we were going to be playing with in terms of Tom Holland, Timothy Chalamet, Glenn Powell, Austin Butler for Edward, and Jenna Ortega, Anya Taylor-Joy, Sydney Sweeney for Bella, and then like their comrades, if you will, in the current Hollywood. So yeah, I definitely agree. Let's see it. We might be able to narrow some of those down in a minute here. Dr. Luke said Timmy Chalamet is already a vampire, so he can be Ed. Jenna as Bella because she's scary, and Timmy C again as the werewolf because he's a dog. Thanks, Luke. Yeah, I would love to see that movie. That'd be really good. Okay, so already taking Meryl Streep out of it, we're seeing Jenna Ortega as a common theme for Bella. How do we feel about that? I think it's not bad, to be honest with you.
I'm sure she could do it, but I don't know.
Okay,
Yeah, like she could do it. I just don't think I'd ever pick her.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well then, Jaden, who would you pick?
Are we gonna wait? Hold on. Was that all the answers?
Yeah.
Okay. Right. My first pick would be for Bella. It was Emily Allen Lind, who
Start the Googling.
She was in The Babysitter, which I love, but she's also done like a spate of other horror projects, Doctor Sleep and Ghostbusters and all that shit, Lights Out even. And she's I think she looks the part, but then also like she's a bit old, so we're talking about how Kristen was 17, so I was like, so maybe I should be looking for someone that younger. Well, guess what? She has a younger sister, Olivia, who is 17. So I'm like, maybe her. But then casting Olivia, it makes my male lead pretty bad because he's 29. So we stick with Emily because she's, I don't know, 20ish something. Okay. And then my male lead would be old mate Tom Blythe. As like
good one.
Someone who's coming across from another young adult adaptation. He's got a similar kind of stature. He's tall. He's got that kind. He can do that kind of like gaunt look.
Yeah.
He's pulled off. So Emily Allen Lind and Tom Blythe are my castings.
Yeah, dude, that's a good one, man. Rachel Ziegler came up for me, but I didn't go with it. But
I thought about casting the two of them. I'm like, oh no, I can't do that again.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I watched that shit. Don't worry about it. Yeah. Okay. That's good. Fitzy, what about you?
Oh, you go first. Dude. You go first. I still haven't really found anything.
Oh shit. Okay. So for Edward, who would I cast today? And this, I think, establishing that you guys like Kristen Stewart more in this movie than Robert Pattinson. So you guys are definitely going to disagree. But today, I would cast Robert Pattinson. I thought he was great. I thought he was perfect. He looks the part, and he could still totally do it. So I'd cast Robert Pattinson. He wouldn't want to do it.
No, he'd turn this shit down immediately.
100%. But hey, I would give him a call for sure if I'm remaking Twilight. You know what I mean? And I would cast him with Catherine Newton as Bella. I feel like.
Who'd you say?
Catherine Newton. Wow, I just talk about.
Oh, okay. I feel who she was.
Thank you for giving me something there. Yeah, that's what I would do. I'm about that. How old is she? I don't know.
Probably mid-20s.
Mid-20s?
Yeah, 26, 27.
Yeah, that's fine. That's cool. I'm happy with that. Yeah, that's what I would do. Jans looks like he's either hates my answer or is processing.
No, I'm just look. I think you're RP. I mean, how old is he? He's like 39 now, surely, something like that. 38.
Yeah, probably right. Oh, hang on. That sounds a bit old, right? 30s.
Hold on. I think he was born in 85. So what's that make him?
39.
39.
He's 38.
38. There you go. Yes, I was right. It is a bit old to be playing a teenager.
Him? Oh, you were hung up on him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, he definitely is.
Yeah, Catherine I can see, but at the same time, I'm like, she's so often been in like kind of bubblier roles that I'm like, maybe not.
True.
Like even when I've like even like I don't know, like she did do like the Little Women TV show, I guess, and like I don't know, she did Abigail recently, but even that's like a fun horror movie, you know. Like
bubbly. Yeah, I see what you mean by that.
Yeah.
Yeah. You need someone who's you need more of a Jenna type.
and Emily Ellen Lind type, perhaps.
Sure. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know. I feel like
I think she could do it still. Yeah.
Yeah. She pulled it off.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I just feel like your answer for Edward's a bit of a cop out.
That's what I would do, to be honest with you.
Oh, yeah.
Like if I'm looking at the the others, like I'm not casting Timmy. That's not.
No, God no.
I'm not casting Glenn Powell. No way.
No, he's taught again. He's fucking
Yeah, but even if the age wasn't a thing, he doesn't look like a vampire to me.
Yeah.
Let's
hear Liam's option, then we can.
Oh, I was trying to buy him time, so I don't think have you got it yet?
Yeah, I don't know.
Right.
Well, Austin Butler seems like the best answer out of those, kind of already suggested by Aiden. So him or I've got Harris Dickinson, who is just he was in the Iron Claw as like the
yeah.
I don't know if the hair's right, but I think he can definitely pull off the brooding kind of vampiric features.
Yeah, I go with that.
And for the girl, I don't know. I think did I find someone? I think I really struggled with this because I think first of all, I think they need to be. I think being brunette is a big plus. So like,
they can dye their hair, right?
Yeah. Thanks, Jaden. But it just didn't. The answers you guys suggested didn't feel like nothing felt right to me, even after looking through 600 different people. So I don't know. I couldn't really find anyone for female, but.
So you'd cast Kristen today. You said she basically looks the same.
She does pretty much the same.
Does she? I feel like she looks a lot older these days.
She's a bit short for sure, but I think her face is still pretty much the
same. Maybe I'd cast
casual ageism.
Escape room person, maybe.
Taylor Russell.
Yeah. I don't know. Sure, yeah. Taylor Russell. Taylor Russell's my answer.
How do you feel about Freya Allen Finney?
No.
No?
No, I don't see it.
Okay. How about this one? All right, so Emily's also got an older sister, Natalie Allen Lind.
That's good. See, that's actually handy to have lots of siblings where you can just you can just go to. It's like if you wanted to cast Elle Fanning in something.
Yeah.
It's headed to, oh shit! We'll go to Dakota, see what she's up to. You know what I mean?
And then the mum, Barbara Woods, I think is Barbara.
Oh yeah, the mum. Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
Mum, Alan Woods. That's what it is. Yeah.
Right.
Cast her if you feel like it.
Yeah. That's right. Is there another Fanning, or is it just the two of them?
No, I think it's just Dakota now.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Yeah. Wow. Maybe that should be a question of the week. I do best acting family. Yeah.
Actually, haven't we done that already? Because we talked about Skarsgård versus Culkins or something like that.
Oh,
I feel like we've talked about that
at all.
No. Okay.
Possibly. I don't know. We've definitely talked about how many Skarsgårds there are. Because that's unbelievable.
Go back to what you talked about before, though, about how the Culkins look uniform, the Skarsgårds don't.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's definitely true. Skarsgård, wow, they look, yeah. Definitely. Okay, as always, we'd love you to submit your responses, thoughts, and or reviews for next week's film in the YouTube or Instagram comment section, or join the Discord server. This week, the specific question we'll be asking you is, what movie's sound lends itself best to a cinema experience? Let us know. So it's a movie you got to pick, or a franchise, I guess, if you wanted to. But yeah, let us know. Maybe draw from your own experiences in cinemas as well. That's what we'll be doing. Because, Fitzy, what are we doing next week?
A Quiet Place, day 1, which is in cinemas. So get hyped.
Fitzy's hyped as, for sure. We're hyped. Okay. Excellent. That's it for this week's episode of Cinema Effect. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Thank you to Liam and Janet for joining me as always. Have a great rest of your week and goodbye.